Destin Rivals just came out, so we can't get that crazy about where these prices are at and where they're going. It just came out. Calm down. We're in the FOMO stage. However, it was interesting to me. We're talking about our Tuesday trends where things are going up in price. Single cards and sealed Pokemon products. And you know what? I just saw a couple little pieces on Destin Rivals I thought were worth looking at here. Team Rocket's Mewtwo EX, of course, the special illustration rare, the chase of the set, the big one, because it's Mewtwo, because it's a darker feel, even though it's not technically a dark Pokemon, although it's Team Rocket's Mewtwo with Giovanni. It's got a lot going for it. I just think we could have gotten a little further along with that one in making it more of a Rocket revival set, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. I digress on my, wishing for something different than what we got or didn't get. I haven't gotten any. I mean, I got the one product. That's it. So we'll see if I get to that opportunity. But the promising thing is prices do come down. They tend to cool off a little bit. The anticipation was very high on this set, and it has since cooled down even leading up to the release. And now we're going to be in that FOMO price to the kind of like, okay, this is a little bit more realistic, even though these prices these days are just kind of crazy. We'll call it realistic. Team Rocket's Mewtwo, on the other hand, has had its quick little crash, and then it jumped up a little bit even still. Now, this is not indicative of a trend that this card is going to be going through. We're talking days on the market. However, there's 30 available, 31 available right now, and the market price is saying $339, so $340 is where it's putting at. Recent sales data, in particular, is kind of a little bit all over the place here. $360, $350, $340, $320, but that's light play there. $330, $360, $360, $360, $300. Okay, some of these anomalies are interesting here. What does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. It means give it time and see where it's at. There's a listing for $315. It is listed as light play, and sometimes, like in the case of this seller here, you had pictures available. So this is a sold one, actually, that went just very recently. And light play, I don't see anything wrong with it. The borders aren't perfect. I mean, a little bit heavier on the right, a little bit heavy on top compared to the bottom, left to right, that kind of thing. So a little bit thicker over here than it is over here, a little bit thicker up there than it is down here. Okay, fine. Centering, you could get past that. I mean, even to a certain degree of centering, you could go for a grading of 10. It's getting harder these days. Grading companies are getting a little bit more cracked down on that specific portion of it as far as the spacing on the edges. However, they do a good job of showing you that, hang on, this is considered light play, and that's a really fair grade for them to put out there as a seller. If they pulled this out pack fresh, it would not be a surprise that it came out looking like this because of the quality control among Pokemon, especially English Pokemon lately. This is not out of the ordinary. Now, one little chip of whitening, okay, you almost expect that at least on every card now, but when you get to these higher chase pulls, you got to be meticulous, and this one has a lot of that edge wear all the way around. They zoom in on one corner just to show you it's pretty intense, but you could see it. It's that little flaking all the way around, that the edges are terrible. These chips away here, this little chunk, like there's all sorts of stuff going on here. So I think light play was a really fair idea for them to be listing at, and that brings it to a better price point for the buyer. Now, if you're going to put this into a sleeve and throw it in a binder, go with a light play. If the seller's going to be this honest about it, that looks gorgeous for light play, in my opinion. I mean, you could even start tearing down a little bit, but it's hard to go further down in grade quality or, the condition quality this early on in a set, unless people get it in an early build and battle box or whatever, and they do some gameplay with it and really kind of beat it up a little bit to get to that moderate play level at this point early on in the set. But just interesting there, and hopefully we'll see this come back down. I mean, I don't think this is where it's going to land. I don't think it's on an upward trend by any means. It just doesn't make any sense. It makes more sense that things are going to start cooling off, and you start seeing it that things are cooling off or starting to stagnate. So we'll get to that in a little bit, but I wanted to talk about the stuff that's going up. Shrouded Fable, the set nobody wanted, the set I already passed on, right? The Pokemon Center Elite Trainer Box, these are a home run every time. Well, not a huge home run. I mean, you look at it just on the low point in the past 3 months at $80. $80 isn't that high above the MSRP of $60, so considering where things are at, that's not horrible, and the movement has only been to 85 from there. So it's not a horrible pickup if you're looking for more exclusive products. If you're looking for Pokemon Center Elite Trainer Boxes, I'd put this on my radar as something that might be worth it on the secondary market because it's not out of hand. It's not insane. Although the available listings show that it is a little bit hotter than that price suggests, so $80 and then $10 on shipping, while the market says $85. The lowest listing available on TCG Player is $90, so keep an eye on it. Kingdra EX Special Illustration Collection. I love how this picture was the one that circulated from the very beginning, and they never turned them around for any of stock photos, so very interesting. But that Kingdra promo is actually pretty cool, and this one has been going up over time and pretty substantially in the past few months here. So it's now sitting at a high point of $62, almost $63, $62.50. Market says almost $63. So interesting that that one's gone up so high, but I think it makes sense that this one's going up because the counterpart, the alternate one there, the Greninja EX Special Illustration Collection, this one's actually cooled down a little bit. And the reason being is it only has so high to go. The pack value is only so much. The one promo, which there are a lot of them out there, can only carry so much of the weight. This promo is going for about $40 right now, so you gotta kind of figure in that a $40 promo and a $35 box on top of it, okay, it kind of makes sense. It adds up. And the Kingdra not being as sought after, now becomes the next set of focus. So while you're looking at one thinking, oh, nobody wants that Kingdra, eventually it's going to come around because the others, the ones that are in competition with it at the same time in the same set, the similar promos, whatnot, are going to be the less favorite as far as who's going to be putting their collection dollars into it right now today, which leads to a couple things. Kingdra goes up, and Greninja actually comes down a little bit to accommodate for the fact that nobody's going to be going in at almost $80 on this one on a repeated basis there. So it's a little bit too much for some people. And the other staples in a set, especially a specialty set like Shrouded Fable, where there is no booster box, the ETB. The ETB is where you're going to see some serious gains. I thought it was great how this set was easy to obtain at $35 for an ETB. $37 was, a little bit there. If you found it at $40, you were kind of a sucker to be paying for a pre-release at $40 because of the times we were in. We had such good times in the Scarlet and Violet era for a long while that I think a lot of people squandered that opportunity, or maybe they just weren't in the hobby yet, so they didn't even know about it. But what I want to put there is not, haha, you missed out. It's more so you have something to look forward to, because this boom can't last forever. It is still pretty hot. Things get crazy. A queue pops up on Pokemon Center like it did yesterday for the Build and Battle Box out of, well, my gosh, Silver Tempest. That's the one. That popped up just yesterday. And apparently it was sold out very quickly. I was able to add it to cart. I couldn't check out. Added to cart, couldn't check out. Added to cart, couldn't check out. I don't know what's going on, so I gave up. It's not that those products are going to be like, oh my gosh, this is a big winner. I got to hold on to a Build and Battle Box from Silver Tempest forever. But it was just, if it's an opportunity for a set that's not that easy to obtain and you can get it at MSRP, may as well take that opportunity and go ahead and go forward with it. So that was my thinking behind it. It just didn't pan out, and I'm not that butthurt about it because it really didn't matter. If I would have missed it, it wouldn't have been that big a deal. Not the end of the world. But I understand for a lot of people, missing out on those deals is a huge difference in their collection story. So if you're on your collection journey, maybe you're thinking Shrouded Fable at coming up to $60 is reasonable, and it could be for you. Compared to a lot of other sets, yeah, I think it is. I think the box artwork is cool. I think there's a lot of artworks that are kind of growing on me within the set. So I think this one will age well, considering where it started. But just be understanding of the fact that the market will go up and it'll go down. Today we're talking about these spikes, but it's going to go down over time. And eventually we will see ETBs that are going to be in the $40, $45 range. At least for a little while, it'll feel like usual. So I hope we get there again soon, but, we'll see. Stay patient, no FOMO, all that good stuff. Stellar Crown Booster Box. Now, we know booster boxes have all been climbing up, and I don't think there's a single one under $200. Maybe Journey Together just slipped under that for a little bit here. But we do have the Stellar Crown Booster Box on this pretty rapid climb over the past 6 months here, getting us into that now $217, $214 for a listing there. Not horrible given what we're seeing in the space. Again, the Elite Trainer boxes, another one to go with here, and this one has been kind of steady. It's a little bit of a growth, but it's got kind of a stagnant feel to it, which is a fantastic chart to see. Now, me as a collector, I want my prices to go up because then it's worth more, and if I do go to sell, which I haven't done very often, okay, I can get the most bang for my buck kind of thing, or the most buck for what I did on that initial investment. I'm in it for the long haul, so I'll hold out longer and see where this goes. But it is good to see this because it's kind of a trend of the market overall that things are starting to slow down, even though it doesn't feel like it sometimes when you're sitting in that queue for a while on Pokemon Center, or you rush to get something on a Target restock and it's not there, or you see people camped out in line for GameStop, but there's nothing available on the shelf by the time you get there. So yeah, the boom is still here, but there are signs, there are stories, there are different videos out there, there are different little elements showing us that things are slowing down at least a bit, and maybe there's something to look forward to. The Stellar Crown 3-pack blister here, Latias, apparently the better one to go with. I mean, why not? It's a legendary bird, that makes sense, and a pretty good steady climb, but then we kind of plateau here, so I wanted to see what that's about with the nothing being sold. So we'll take some recent sales here, and they're actually dated pretty far back because people aren't willing to go into it for this kind of dollar dollar amount. Again, we are at a peak. This is the trend up. It fits to the video topic today, but I think this particular story shows us a little bit more about the hobby and how things are slowing down, stagnating a little bit in a way that's going to reflect a positive turn for us, the pack opener, us, the collector, us, the TCG player of Pokemon. You know, I think this is a good sign for all of us in the hobby across the board. The only people who are really going to be losing out on this are the scalpers, the ones with no patience and they want to just flip it for a quick buck. I think they're the only ones who are going to be losing, which is fantastic because they serve no real good purpose in this space. They're not doing any favors to anybody. They're getting these jacked up prices that are not going to help you. And if you can have the patience, you might have that payoff for you in the long run. I have a little patience, so I'm going to take that and put it into the channel. 6,000 subscribers. We're going to give away this Evolving Skies 3-pack blister. Also, we're giving away 5 Pokemon mystery card lots. All you got to do is be a part of the channel. Make sure that you go ahead and like, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. Once we reach 6,000 subscribers, we're going to go ahead and do that giveaway, but make sure you are entered in the right spot. This video here is where you need to leave an additional like and additional comment so you're officially entered to win. I post 7 days a week, and with that, I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.